Let's have a laugh.
In a world of remakes and remasters,
Are we playing for
what was once sacred and cool has now soured and become lame.
Radical?
Gone are the days of pods and cowabunga. Now is the reign of slurp juice and dabs. Kids these days don't even know how bad they've got it. Now it's up to the best generation to rise to the occasion and make a show that dares to go where a lot of other nerdy shows have already gone quite a bit. That's right. They're going to talk about it a lot.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. This is Best Gen, where all of us are mas o menos from the same generation, and we happen to think that it's the best one out of all the generations, not because we're better than you, but our movies certainly were, so strap on in and prepare to wax nostalgic as we reminisce upon the days of yore while simultaneously complaining about the dummy, stupid, doo-doo, dumb movies that Hollywood keeps making today. For some reason, they keep doing it, and it's possible they've learned their lesson, but we're still going to see some care, we'll see. We'll see if Hollywood's learned their lesson. But thanks for tuning in. We know you have a wide variety of entertainment to choose from on this Sunday night before you go back to work in the morning, and we're glad that you chose American Airlines. Mark Clark, it's good to see you in the chat. David was actually here on time. We were recording some Ultimate Nostalgia, which is hopefully will be weekly if we can keep up on it. Well, we need it to be weekly because it's going to take over a year to get through all of Ultimate Marvel anyway. If we do one a week, and that's like that's like a slow pace,
and that's not including when we're going to throw in some indie comics and maybe some DC here and there. It's a lot.
Yeah, I think I want to, even if we do other ones, I'd still want to commit to one Ultimate Marvel a week, just because I can't imagine doing this for 10 years. So if we do indie stuff, it would be a bonus episode.
Yeah.
But we ended right at 7. I had forgotten to pull up the news.
Gotcha.
So I was getting stuff ready, and we were giving the other guests some time to show up if they're going to show up late. It's a big commitment to ask my regulars to be here for 3 hours every Sunday, but it's never my fault, okay, that the show goes this long. In fact, and it wasn't my fault that Ultimate Nostalgia was taking so long. I kept trying to summarize stuff. Okay, so then this happened, and then this happened, and that was a cool part of the comic book. And then David would be like, oh yeah, but before we get to that, if we go back, I like this part. I'm like, oh, David, can you read the room? We gotta go start Best Gen, and you keep going back.
Well, it wasn't my fault. You struggled for 25 minutes trying to get the
in my
properly.
defense, though, something was going on with Streamlabs. It stopped working the same way it worked last time.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he's been here for an hour. Charles sounds just like David. Yes. Charles was on
our other brother,
the Conan stream. He's significantly younger too. How old is Charles now? He's 22.
22? I think 21.
There's a good decade
I
think it's a full 10 years between Charles and me.
Yeah.
So
he's quite a bit younger.
He can never be on this show because he is not from the same generation.
He's the next gen. He cannot be.
But, just like
excluded.
It's okay, though. If he wants to come on the show, I would let him come on the show because I treat Best Gen just like I treat channel memberships. Okay? if you want to be adopted into this best of gens, which I've never defined on this show, right? Because technically we're millennials, but I identify as Gen X. And that's okay. You can do that. You can identify as whatever generation you feel like you belong in.
Just like the doctor, you can be bi-generation, right?
And just, right. Right. You can generate into an adopted heritage.
Generation. Yeah.
So the point of the story is, just like you can be whatever generation you want to be from, if you want to become a Mexican, you can become a channel member, and it's like a papal indulgence. It gives you can gain your own diversity shield, which means you're free from criticism. You can't be canceled, and it only costs 99 cents a month. And you can call yourself technically a Mexican as well. So
there you go.
That's all it takes. I was making a joke about the stream being late because of racial stereotypes.
Yeah, see,
and
now
the stream started. Hey, we started 5 minutes late, okay?
I want to hear the joke now, though.
I give a good 5 minute, like 5 to 10 minutes. If we're running 10 minutes late, I'll start no matter what, okay? Maybe 15. But we give a 5 minute buffer for people to show up because it's a big commitment. And I also got a text, though. I think it might just be us two tonight. I haven't heard from Mexa, but I did hear from Jared. He's not going to make it tonight, but he loved this episode of Silo. He said it was really good.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty good too, and we'll get into that.
I agree.
Are you gonna? Conan. Yes, I think Justin has said he doesn't like playing, but he's gonna watch us. Yes. Also, if that's the case, I need to be more consistent with the Conan streams because we did 2 in a row, and then it was like 2 weeks of me just playing by myself. But you wouldn't have wanted to watch that anyway because I literally went from like level 20 to level 60, full level. Not playing the game at all, just being in game building. I was just base building and farming a whole bunch of rock and wood and stone. You know, it would not have been entertaining. But now I'm done with most of my base building, and we can do some fun stuff. But yeah, if you want to join us on the game, you're welcome to. We have Mark Clark has provided us with a 10-person server, so we can fit in some friends. But
Nice.
I think I want to commit to doing 1 Conan stream a week, probably on the weekends. Can you drop an N-word? No. I'm afraid my powers don't run that deep.
Different demographic. You can't be technically.
It's not. Look, if I had that power within me, I would love to be able to give you a card. But I also don't want to get blamed for any cancellations.
Yeah.
I can only protect you so much under the blanket of fake diversity. But we're seeing some shifting tides.
I hope
in the cultural zeitgeist, and I hope that we've been part of that change. And I'm proud to say that I've never been ashamed of my beliefs. I've never been bullied into silence, and it's cost me some friendships. It's cost me some work, but I don't. My principles can't be sold, so you can never say that I was late to the party.
Oh.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, that'd be cool. Yeah. Right. Mexicans are late. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You don't show up to a Mexican's house at 7:00 if they tell you that the party starts at 7. You show up at 10 p.m. And we say that as Mormons, who are also notoriously late for everything. Mexicans are way worse. Okay, and Mexican Mormons, don't even get me started. Okay,
They might just show up tomorrow.
Mark Clark, thank you so much for the $4.99. Oh, don't start putting anything in the treasure box until we have defenses. Yeah. Are you talking about my vault?
In Conan Exiles, yeah. If you put certain items in the vault, then I think you'll trigger
it has to be a
raid or something like that.
Yeah, there's a... Anyway, we've talked too much about Conan.
Yeah.
But it's been a crazy week, David. I don't know if you know this. Hollywood's on fire.
Fantastic.
I'm trying not to...
Let's hear about it.
No. The natural reaction is to smile. There are lots of innocent people caught in the crossfire, right? And I feel horrible for people who've lost their homes. It's awful. It's also a bit biblical. Like that the most godless city on earth is experiencing what can only be described as an act of God. Unless you want to describe it as intentional. And if you want to jump down the conspiracy rabbit hole with me and read into all the actual arsonists that they've caught on camera starting these fires, who knows?
Yeah. I thought you meant
Charles put a treasure box.
I thought you meant figurative. They're on fire because of something that happened, but no, yeah, literally.
No, they're literally
on fire right now.
Well, that's why, because it's metaphorical and also they're actually on fire. Yeah. Oh, Charles put a treasure box. I didn't put a treasure, so it's not. We're not talking about the vault. It's a treasure box. That's something else. We'll tell Charles not to do that because it will destroy our base. I will tell him. I'll send him a text.
Your kid just like running up and down the halls, right above you.
Yeah, let me send a text.
Yeah, so today we have Silo to talk about, which is the penultimate episode, which I thought was pretty good. It's still not everything happened that I was expecting to happen. It was pretty good. And
they still haven't started the second half of the book.
Right. But
they're doing things. They're doing things out of order. I figured that's what they were going to do. They're going to put all the action in the last episode. I think it can still work, but they're definitely going to have to cut one thing. But I think it can be rearranged in a satisfactory way. Yep. They've also started some stuff that's not in the book, like the stuff at the bottom of the silo. Not in book one at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So I don't know what that is at all, and I've only read book one. So I don't know what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
But we'll get more into depth in Silo, but I want to do news first.
We have that, and then we have Animal Control started up too. So that
Animal Control.
That was a good episode.
Season 3. It started last week, so there's been 2 episodes this week.
Oh,
and also
I didn't watch the first one then.
Yeah, I know. Like today, I was like, "Oh wait, there's another episode." I think I guess I watched it too soon within the week. You know.
Yep.
I didn't realize I was a week behind. I think it airs Fridays. Okay. I really like Animal Control. It's not the best comedy out there, but it's comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think it has, if the seasons were longer, it would be nice. But it's like a 6 season 1 was 12 episodes, and these are 20-minute episodes, right? It fits a 30-minute time slot, so the episode itself is 20 minutes.
Right.
So it's really short. 12 episodes, a 12-episode season of 20-minute episodes. It's not a lot of content. And then season 2 was even shorter. It was 9 episodes. And I think season 3 is 10. So it's basically one season of television, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think so it feels weird to say, I think the show has potential to grow into something bigger when we're at season 3.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been a real 3 seasons of TV. It's not the best thing out there. It's far from the worst, and it's pretty comfortable. And I'm really really liking some of the characters. The secretary, the big black lady who was introduced in season 2.
She was really good in the first episode.
She is quickly becoming my favorite. I liked her in season 2. She's really good in these 2 episodes. She's really fun. Of course, I'll watch anything with Joel in it. because I just miss Community so much. And they've had some fun cameos too, right? It's fun to see the I can't remember her real name, but the lady from Scrubs was in this season, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
My Jolly Roger site went offline. Thanks, bud.
Oh dear.
So you couldn't get.
What are you gonna do?
You couldn't get all the episodes, could you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do news.
Yeah. I've been
What do we got?
enjoying Animal Control. It's pretty fun. Your computer's going down. That's all right. It's all good. News. Yeah. So Holly. Oh shoot! I was supposed to be sharing my screen while I was doing that. I'm bad at this. Share my screen. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hollywood's on fire. Gavin News. This is great. I forget when I'm looking at my screen. It's really big. And then I look at the stream and it's like, oh, that's actually really small because I have giant monitors.
Yeah.
But Gavin Newsom demands answers from whoever is in charge of California. Yeah. Have you seen some of these interviews that he's done? I don't have them all pulled up.
I've seen a couple, or I've heard a couple quotes. I haven't seen
The
any.
first thing they tried to do was blame it on Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone interviewed him, was like, hey, like, how come you don't have enough water? And he just goes, well, it's a local problem. They'll figure it out. And you're like, it's kind of your job.
Yeah.
Gavin Newsom is just the scum of the earth.
Yeah.
But did you see this one? This one's real funny, David.
I didn't see that.
This is a reporter reporting live from the scene. What was the other thing that Gavin Newsom did though? Oh yeah, he tried to say, he faked a phone call. Did you see that one? I don't have it pulled up, but someone else approached Gavin Newsom and they're like, "Hey, what are you going to do to help us?" He's like, "Oh, I'm literally on the phone with the president, with Joe Biden right now, to figure out what we can do." And she's like, "Oh, can I hear?" And he's, "Oh, well, well, it didn't go through." It's like, "Oh, so you're not on the phone with the president?" Well, I've been trying to talk to the president.
That's hilarious.
Like, man, it's so hard because the Arcticus, it's a sad time. Like, I feel horrible for the residents of California, but I can't help but laugh at Gavin Newsom because it is directly his fault, and it hurts even more being from Utah because California took all of our water.
Yeah.
And they dumped it in the ocean. They drained Lake Powell.
Yep.
Because they needed water, and they didn't keep any of it. They've refused to they have reservoirs that they are not using. And in addition to those, they should be building more reservoirs. So like heart goes out to these people. I know people have died. It's horrible. But I really, really hope that this helps expose just how scummy Gavin Newsom is. And I hate him even more being from Utah because Lake Powell was the most beautiful place on earth, and it is a hellhole right now. Yeah. And we just gave them. They asked for it. We gave them all of Lake Powell. And it still hasn't recovered. It's been like 5 years.
Yeah,
Lake Powell is still empty.
Because I was living in California at the time, and I was really pissed at him for doing that. And they have certain.
They drained Flaming Gorge too. That's north. Gosh. That's North Utah.
Yeah,
I didn't even know about that because I haven't been to Flaming Gorge.
That sucks.
I'm actually planning a trip this year.
I was at Flaming Gorge last year. They seriously drain it this year? That sucks, dude. Flaming Gorge is amazing. There's
at least San Francisco will be trash free. But are the smelt okay? The tiny little fish. Hey, Pulp Mortem. Thanks for joining. Arcticus. I don't think I addressed you yet, but man, have I seen the deep fake No.
There's a
No, I
couple
haven't.
deep fakes
I only
going around.
watched like the first like 10 minutes of FNT because I've been busy playing Conan. I would have seen. That's the thing. I would have been watching FNT while playing Conan, but I had to stream it, and so I couldn't watch FNT and play.
Yeah.
It had to be entertaining. That's always the toss up. I'm like, oh, do I want to stream or do I want to entertain myself? Oh man, Flaming Gorge. Okay. Maybe they should also stop with the tree hugging. Clear some of that. Yeah, I know. They made it illegal to thin the forests in California.
Yep.
David literally did a science fair project. Were you in middle school when
Yeah,
you did it?
it was middle school.
They built two identical terrain. How big was the board? We built. You
was
built
like
miniature
half,
terrain.
it was
I helped
half
with
a
a bunch of
size
it.
of,
I did. I did half of this work, and
You did not.
I got my brother a good grade. Okay. We
you
built.
stood around and watched the flames. You didn't do it.
I had, dude. I put on so much paper mache that my hands were wrinkly. Okay. I helped you build those frames. Thank you very much. You built two giant identical frames out of wire and paper mache, and then added, you just cut off a bunch of branches off of trees, and you cut live branches, right? And
Yeah,
so it was a miniature
actual
forest.
trees, and we covered it with clay, I think, and then dirt, and then we put real, trees and everything on this little miniature, and then we set them on fire. And one of them,
it was one of them had been thinned, like
one
we
of them was
used to
thinned,
do
and
in
we
the
had
80s,
roads going through it, and
one of them is a
roads
modern
stopped.
forest that only exists under democratic rule because of you can't cut down trees. Cutting down trees saves trees, guys.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I actually won an award for that and was asked to present that to some sort of fireman's club, something or other, whatever. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I was in middle school. But yeah, I presented it after the science fair to a group of fire chiefs and everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the result was astronomically different, right?
Thinning the forest.
The regular forest
absolutely
burns
helps.
down. Thinning the forest.
It
started a
stopped
brush
itself.
fire, and it immediately went out.
Yeah.
Didn't burn down a single tree.
Yep. So yeah,
That was a
it
really
was
cool
night and
science.
day.
That was a really cool experiment.
It was fun. But yeah, not only that, they have wasted so much money on trying to chase, green energy, renewable energy with solar,
And yet they chased out they chased out Tesla. The pioneers of green energy vehicles. So I don't believe they don't actually believe in green energy, David. It's just a virtue signal. Seafood on pizza is underrated. I used to laugh at the whole sardines on pizza thing just because it's a meme, right? And that sounds disgusting. But I love seafood. I've actually never had sardines on pizza. I could definitely go for. I should try some more. I should try some seafood pizza. You know what could work? Is like octopus. An octopus pizza. Go for like a Mexican octopus ceviche on top of a pizza. I'd go for that.
Yeah, I haven't had enough seafood on pizza to.
I can cover it. Yeah, I'm trying to work on a review of Wind and Truth, but I should pull up his post. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing too, though, like I said, they wasted so much energy, or, money trying to research these green energy, renewable energy things, and they completely neglect their own power grid. And so when I was living in California, they had so many forest fires because the wind would get strong and knock down their power lines, and because they were ill maintained, they would start fires when the power lines fell down. And so whenever there were strong winds, they would intentionally shut off your power. And one time we were out of power for 3 days straight, just because there was high winds to prevent forest fires. It's
Right.
absolutely ridiculous.
Well,
there.
it is a good. So the shutting down the power grid, you want to do if there's a fire,
Right.
right? Which they didn't do. I've seen videos of people calling in, watching the power line sparking against the trees during this fire, and they're like, "Hey, can you shut off the power, please?" And they say no. They did the same thing. It's the same thing that happened in Hawaii. They intentionally left it on the power grid, but only in the poor areas.
Oh, snap.
Like, I know it sounds like a conspiracy, but
them's the facts.
When you had people like Oprah and The Rock immediately come in and buy up a bunch of land afterward, it's not a conspiracy anymore. Yep. But you could see pictures of Hawaii. The fire burned around all the rich areas and only burned down poor people's houses. It's a power grab. And I've seen pictures in California where it's burned through suburbs and it ignored all of the trees. That can only happen if you leave the power grid on, you morons. I realize it's not Occam's razor. It's what's the other razor about? You don't attribute to malice what should be. You can't immediately contribute to malice what is often the cause of stupidity or something like that. I'm saying it wrong, right? Usually stupidity is the answer, and most people jump to malice. There's too much. There's too much going on. Yeah. This is obviously malice. Yes, Evie isn't green either. Yes, I know.
Exactly.
First off, creating the batteries isn't green, and also powering the batteries isn't green either. The only truly green energy is nuclear, and for some reason that's the only energy. Well, and coal. For some reason, the left hates nuclear energy.
Yeah, because it's scary, man.
The best pizza you've had was a chicken pizza. No, Charles. It wasn't that good. And you took me. I went to eat your Brazilian pizza with chocolate on it. It's fine. It's not bad. It is not the best pizza on earth. You're a psychopath. Yeah, and they get fires out there all the time.
Yep.
Just annex. The only pizza is pepperoni. Look, I like a good pepperoni pizza. It is also the most basic, boring pizza you can order, which you can easily fix.
It's
if you do pepperoni and green chili.
Oh, yes.
It goes from like a 5 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10 instantly.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid to dream a little bigger, Mark. Good one. Yeah, the commies ruined. Yeah, unfortunately, there have been some awful disasters, but we're smarter now, okay? Let's learn from our mistakes instead of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right?
Yeah.
What I had, if you admit that the one you gave me wasn't what it's supposed to taste like, chocolate chicken pizza, you sound retarded, Charles. Okay.
Yeah. So what about this clip?
Oh, right. This has been up for like 15 minutes.
Yep. We got distracted with California and the kid that came in.
Right. Because I had to. Okay. This is a. It's good, David. He's reporting live. I'm going to mute it for myself because it's not important. He turns. What is that, David?
Those are clothespins.
It was really important to make sure that he looked slim.
Oh, that's so good.
In his emergency coat. Well,
wow.
You know what's funny? It looks like he's just in a fireman jacket, right? But it's not. It's got an ABC
logo on it,
logo printed on it. You know, like. And so that makes it even worse, right? So it's already been like tailored to him, and I was like, I don't look slim enough for this shot of a disaster behind me. Please, can you use some clothespins so I look thin?
Wow.
A Thai style pizza. So I'm not a picky eater. Like the only thing I don't like is the seasoning cloves. I think it's way too strong. I can eat stuff with it. When I was a kid, it made me throw up, but I've grown up now. I can handle. I still don't like it. I'm not a picky eater.
It was my personal mission to sneak as much cloves in any food we could have without him telling.
David was a dick.
Yeah,
still is. But so it literally made me throw up as a kid. Okay.
You say that.
Look, I'm saying I'm an open-minded. I've always had an open-minded eater, and it's not for like lack of like, oh, I don't think I want to try that. It's just never happened where in my head the whole like peanut mixed with meat thing sounds like it shouldn't work. And it's not that I'm scared of trying it. I'm like, if it's presented to me, I'll try it. But it's just every opportunity I've had to try like the peanut sauce, there are just other things on the menu that look better to me. And so I need to try some like Thai peanut stuff, but that sounds interesting. But yeah, chicken and peanut sounds almost as bad as chocolate chicken to me. But I have a very open mind, and I haven't tried it, so I can't actually say that that's a bad thing.
I mean, a good chocolate mole sauce is great over chicken.
It is, but you don't really taste the chocolate that much.
Yeah,
I'm hungry now. So I haven't eaten dinner, guys.
Yeah.
I had lunch. Yeah, Thai pizza. That does sound good. I'll try some. I'll need to try some peanut chicken.
Yeah, I don't like peanut butter, but peanut sauce is pretty good, actually.
From Barcelona? No. This is like this is a regular white guy report. I've seen him in stuff. I scrolled down and there was a cancel word. It's more than one. Look at that. There's two of them.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And that is a huge bunch. Like, no one's going to... In fact, he looks ridiculous. This is a fireman jacket. Like, they're supposed to be wide. He looks retarded with it slimming. Yeah, but, I gotta look so slim for the camera. Look, these people make me sick. They're so gross. Black sesame seed on the crust. Now, I could get behind it good.
Ooh.
You only care if he's from Barcelona? Why would he be from Barcelona? What was we had a whole Barcelona thing going on a month ago. I can't even remember what the joke was.
I do not recall.
I know that's what you're referring to. I'm trying to remember why that was a joke. You're derailing the whole video. Yes, you are.
Yeah, this guy's ridiculous.
Oh, I gotta try some peanut sauce.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's both hilarious and very sad and upsetting at the same time.
Okay, this is the worst though. Okay, I need to share the audio for this one.
I already know what's coming.
So the mayor of San Francisco is a lesbian. The fire chief was replaced with a lesbian, and like all of the people in charge, they only hire lesbian women for some reason. And the fire chief has said her only mission is to hire more women and people of color instead of stopping fires, right? And this was an interview that happened, and I know people have mentioned FNT. I know they showed it on there already, but if you haven't seen it yet, oh boy. Share audio, share. Okay. This is not a parody. This is a real interview with the LA Fire Department. Here you go, David.
You want to see some...
You can hear?
Yep.
The most important thing, David, if your house is on fire, what's the most important thing for you?
Gets to safety.
No.
Make sure your family and children are safe.
No, that's racist, David.
Oh, okay. Make sure
most important thing.
your
No, David.
Neighbors are safe.
The most important thing to you should be you need to make sure that the first responders look like you. You want somebody that responds to your house.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you.
And I'm screwed if they show up at my house. I'm just gonna stay in my house as it burns to the ground. Like, what the hell?
I don't want a firefighter that looks like me. I want a firefighter that looks like Jason Momoa.
Right?
Okay? If a firefighter shows up and he looks like me, I know I'm going to die.
Yep, that's a
I
good
am
point.
overweight. It's not healthy. And I wouldn't want to rely on me to carry people out of a fire. Much less a lesbian.
Yeah.
It gets worse, David. It gets worse.
It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that
Oh, it gives them a little more ease. Knowing that they look like you. You're a racist. Like, how do you not see this as so racist? I want my first responders to look like me. What was Martin Luther King's dream, David?
We'll be judged by the content of our character.
No, Martin Luther King wanted us to be judged by the color of our skin.
Oh, that's right.
He's famous for saying it.
I had it backwards all these years.
She can lift you. She does look pretty thick. Okay.
Yeah.
It gets worse, David.
somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
What? What?
He was asking for it, David. Just look at how he was dressed.
No, but literally, that's their job.
Yeah.
If there's someone stuck in a fire, you carry
David,
them out of the fire.
No, their job is to look like the person they're saving. Oh, sorry. I misspoke. Their job is to look like the person they're letting die.
Yeah. Wow. That is so ridiculous.
He got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire. You vapid, evil psychopath.
Wow.
Like, there is... There is no middle ground with this. Like, you can't meet in the middle with someone like this.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to, right? I have never in my life stopped being friends with someone because of their politics. I've had lots of people stop being friends with me. Okay? For my political beliefs. And that's the problem, right? You can only meet in the middle if both parties are willing to look at the other side with compassion. And I look at these people with pity. I look at them with compassion. I would love for them to meet me in the middle. But they won't.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. There is no logic. Yeah. There is no morality that could justify even a fraction of this kind of position.
Yeah, that is the most brain dead take I've ever heard.
When when people say, what does woke even mean, right? What's the definition of woke? You guys don't even know what you're saying when you use the word. It's this, okay? It's this mindset where the only thing that matters above all else is identity politics. When your immutable characteristics have more worth than your soul, you're in the wrong place.
Yep.
So, it does look like that lady. She can lift.
But she's not gonna, because you got yourself in the wrong place. Heaven forbid you get stuck in a fire. So ridiculous. That's wrong on so many levels. Yeah. What's next? Is that all our news?
Oh no, there's more, because they also fired a whole bunch of firefighters who didn't want to get vaccinated.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
So now we're going to have a whole bunch of quadruple vaxxed lesbians fighting fires in California.
Yeah, because
Good luck with
California's
that.
got and that's why like I feel horrible. I feel horrible for anyone who's caught up in this awful fire. And I hope that the leaders, I hope that they burn in hell. Like they there needs to be some kind of accountability for how intentionally horribly this has been, not mismanaged. It's been calculated.
Yeah.
Like this is calculated destruction. And it's evil.
It's gross.
Her pronouns are fatty. Yeah, you used to live in Malibu? I didn't know that, Mark. There's nothing left.
Yeah, it's sad.
Okay, there's news though. There's more news. David, I know you're really excited for the next chapter of Rebel Moon.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be a VR game.
Oh, okay.
So that's fun. Don't really have
okay.
anything to say about that. The 3-Body Problem gets an exciting season 2 announcement. They're going to start filming it. It's been like a year.
That's exciting, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I despise this current trend of waiting 3 years between seasons. Also, this show was a massive disappointment. There were lots of things I liked about it, and this character was the worst part. This specific character was just awful. And I like her as an actress. I think she's fantastic. Man, what a horrible character, and what a missed opportunity. But that's Dan and Dave for you, baby. That's Dan and Dave. Didn't finish it, Mark. Like, yeah. Maybe watch the boat scene. It's pretty cool. But they really did not understand the entire point of the books, right?
It's a bummer.
Yeah. David, it's been revealed. Willow cost almost $200 million.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine spending $200 million on something that bad?
That's mind-boggling.
Is it worth watching 3-Body Problem? No. It's worth reading. It's a good book.
What?
Is that her body count 3? Probably not.
And how many actors did they have, big name actors, aside from Warwick Davis, did they have in the show? Everybody else was no-name characters that I hadn't seen in anything else.
So the money didn't go to pay big names.
Uh-huh.
Presumably all of it went into the production, right?
The costumes
presumably
were
this wasn't,
crap.
a money laundering scheme, right? I would hope that that's not the case. I would hope that the money went into the VFX, which looked like garbage, and the sets, which looked like garbage, and the script, which was entirely garbage.
Yep, and the costumes that weren't even ironed properly. You still had the creases from the folds in the fabric in several shots.
$172 million.
That's insane.
Like
bro.
that's more embarrassing than the Acolyte, man.
Right.
Like at least you could see where some of the Acolyte money went. Like, okay, they spent time on the special effects. The story is terrible.
Yeah.
They spent some time on some of the sets, right? You could see some of the money in the Acolyte. Way too much. Huge mismanagement.
Yeah.
This is so much worse.
Yeah.
And the show doesn't exist anymore, Charles.
They pulled it.
You cannot watch it anywhere unless you pirated it.
Yeah. That is really bad. I think the only CGI that looked good was with the wands. I think they did some.
There were some okay effects with
the
the
zappy effect with the wand was fine, but yeah, everything else was awful.
Yeah,
it was like the worst CW script acting that I've ever seen in my life. They're trying to rip off so many different tropes from other films and genres. It was so embarrassingly bad.
Yeah, Raised by Wolves is not on HBO now either. That's what I've heard. They took that down. So I'm upset at them too. But it was probably a smart choice for Disney to take this down.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can get it on DVD. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, they started releasing some of their Disney Plus shows on DVD that you could buy,
Right.
or DVD and Blu-ray. But I don't.
It's literally the
I don't know
only
about Willow.
the only
Trying to bury it.
Raised by Wolves was the only casualty of the writer strikes. Everything else that got canceled and delayed, I was happy about.
Deserved to be canceled. Yeah.
But Raised by Wolves was the friendly fire. That was the cost. That was
Raised
the
by
cost.
Wolves in DVD. Gotcha.
Yeah, Raised by Wolves.
I thought you were talking about Willow, which I don't know why you would want to buy a DVD. I was just talking about the availability of it. I think they're
I have
burying it.
I have the screen recordings because I started making the videos on it and I never finished.
Devoid of
So
logic.
I can watch Willow anytime I want.
Have fun with that.
And I don't want to do that. Yeah. More news.
Exactly.
The creator of The Flash has explained why that movie failed.
Oh, do
A
tell.
lot of people aren't interested in The Flash as a character.
False.
That's why it failed. The public half of that, the 4 quadrants, the 2 female quadrants, there are a lot of women who aren't interested in Flash as a character. No, they're not interested in your movie because it was awful.
Yeah.
Because it looked like this, man. What am I looking at?
Yeah.
The Flash is one of the more popular DC characters. Okay? It got its own TV show, which was awful. Okay? It was an awful TV show, but it was, of all of the CW, DC universe stuff, like, it was the most popular one. It had like 13 seasons because the Flash was a popular character, and people watched it in spite of it being awful.
And honestly, aside from Batman, the Flash has the best villain rogue gallery from DC. You know, Superman has a couple really, really good ones, but Superman
Not
also
very many
has, Superman also has a lot of really weird ones, right?
Right.
Flash has a lot of good rogues that people really like. Again, they are kind of more
Campy.
off the wall, campy, but they're really popular in the DC comics.
Yeah, the show started off good. Started off fine. But that's not why people people kept watching, because they liked the Flash, not because the show was good. Okay, yeah. So that's the news, and it's been requested we talk about this.
Yeah.
And I've yet to make my Wind and Truth review because, man, I don't want to do it. If you say his name 3 times in the mirror.
Yeah, so there have been several articles that have come out on.
This is Brandon Sanderson. No, this is Brandon Sanderson's response.
I know, and this is his response to all those articles, because he's been getting a lot of flack from YouTubers and other reviewers about all of the woke stuff that he's put in this latest book. And yeah, so this is his response, and talking about being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is our church. And this was very depressing to read.
It's a pretty big disappointment. Look,
Yeah.
and I still think his heart is in the right place. He is severely misguided.
Yeah.
I think the problem is he's so caring and he's so nice that he doesn't want to offend anybody, and he's been listening to the wrong people. And sometimes you just need to put your foot down and say, no, you are wrong, right? When you're approached by a fire chief who thinks it's more important to hire people who look like her than people who can do firefighting. You need to put your foot down and say, no, this is wrong.
Yeah.
And Sanderson is just so nice, he doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And so he's surrounded himself by people whose hearts are not in the right place. And they've changed his heart. I think that's what's happened. And I think he truly does believe that what he's doing is right. I think he's coming from a good place, and I think that he is entirely misguided and wrong.
Yep.
And I hated Wind and Truth. And the example that he brings up isn't even a good one.
Right. From what I've heard,
look, I read Dragonlance. Dragonlance is written by a member of the same church, Tracy Hickman, and she put a gay character in one of her books. And I thought that was really interesting because I was a member of the church, and we don't believe in gay stuff. But a member of the church could put that in a book. But
so he even admits there, though, it wasn't a full blown,
it wasn't important
fantasy.
To the right.
It was a little offhanded tidbit.
Right.
Right.
Right. Well. Here's what he says. Here's the worst part. Okay. Where is it? It included a same-sex romantic plotline. Okay. I was confused at first because it's a them versus us, right? Them being Christians or us being Christians and them being people who aren't Christians, right? Why are you putting this stuff in your book? Well, because those people exist, right? I don't think it's wrong to have characters in your book that don't have the same values, right? Obviously, your villains aren't going to hold the same values that you believe in, and you can have people, even they don't have to be villains, they don't have to be heroes. You can have people in your books and stories that don't think the exact same as you. It would be really boring to read a book where every character was just me. Actually, wait, hold on a second. That might be a really good book. Okay, don't quote me on that last part. That might actually be really cool. That'd be a fun book. But there wouldn't be a lot of character growth if every character is the same, right?
Yeah. That's literally something like the Giver, right? Some apocalyptic thing where people are told, what to think and what to feel and what to believe.
Okay. And so he says, look, when I read A Study in Scarlet, there were Mormons in that book, and I really didn't like how they were depicted because they're depicted awfully. And the author came out and apologized for, hey, I didn't do my research, and I thought you guys were cult people who did human sacrifice, and that wasn't very cool. I'm sorry I did that, okay?
So he said he wants to do an accurate representation of LGBTQ characters.
Yes. I'm trying to make sure I didn't skip the line, though. So I realized I wanted to have accurate portrayal of things, right? And I wanted to do as Tracy had done and portray people who are different from myself with care, attention, and respect. Okay? I came out of Rose of the Prophet series feeling grateful for Tracy trying his best to be the person who expressed how love and empathy, right? Was it the most authentic? I can't say. They have their own backgrounds. I've met both. Yada, yada, yada. He does a lot of waffling. There's a lot of pontificating and a lot of just unnecessary stuff here. But
again, from what I've heard from those series, it wasn't a big, huge plot line that they focused on these gay characters. It was just something, oh, by the way, in the background, these characters are gay. And that was it. Much like
I don't think that was the goal. Tracy, you're right. It was my impression they didn't want to express what it was to be gay. They just had a character, and he happened to be gay, right?
Right, exactly. Just like
which is not what's going on in Wind and Truth.
Yeah.
Unlike what Doyle did, which was make lampoon a thing. Where's there's one sentence in here that's damning, though. I look at the individual needs of a specific character. I seek primary sources similar, blah, 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 blah. I try and get inside their head and represent them how they would want to be treated. Right, okay. This is fine to an extent. How would a pedophile want to be represented?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's
probably doesn't want
I'm
to
not
be
saying it's an
vilified.
equivalence, right? But how would, right? I'm not saying that the sin of breaking the law of chastity is equally as evil as murder. But if I'm writing a book, lots of people write books about murderers. Is the entire theme of that book that murder is okay, or is murder presented as evil? Right? You can. How would a murderer want to be represented on the page? Oh, murder is okay. It's okay. It's just how I feel. I can't help who I am. It's who I am inside. I can't change who I am, and who I am is someone who wants to murder.
Yeah.
You don't. That's not something that you celebrate. Okay, I fully realize that these people exist in the real world, but sin isn't something that should be celebrated. Now, and I get this whole thing. We don't want to condemn it either. Well, you don't want to condemn the person, but you do want to condemn the sin.
Yeah. And what he's done
Right,
is
right. Even when Christ did
it.
it, Christ said, "No, look, he who was without sin cast the first stone, to the adulterer." Okay, and he says, "Woman, where are thine accusers?" There aren't any. She responds, and he says, "Well, neither do I condemn thee."
And then people forget the next part he says.
Go and sin no more.
Exactly.
Okay, he doesn't say
that's all right.
He doesn't say, "Look,
This is
I
good.
don't
You
condemn.
keep
I don't
sin."
condemn you. Now go and keep sinning."
Yeah.
He says, "Go and sin no more. Go and murder no more." Okay.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between representation and celebration, and that's the problem with Wind and Truth. Wind and Truth celebrates sin.
Yeah.
And I hate it. I still haven't gotten to the line that I despise, though. Us and them, blah blah blah. He's just entirely too empathetic. I get it. That's his thing. More conservative. Blah 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 blah. I consider myself an ally, and I don't believe this for 1 second. That Renarin was. I don't think that Renarin was supposed to be gay at first.
Yeah.
I think he was supposed to be socially awkward.
Supposed to be like autistic or something.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it was. Yeah. I created Renarin as a character long before this was much of a hot button issue. It's always been a hot button issue. Come on, what are you talking about, Brandon? A time when I learned a different direction politically.
Leaned a different
Leaned,
direction.
right? Got it. So he said he's changed politically. This was always going to be his path. I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah, there weren't any.
You've literally said you've changed, and that has made his path change too.
Yeah.
But maybe that world existed, blah, 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 blah. So let me just say, Renarin's story in this book is the one I wanted to tell from the beginning. I don't believe it. I'm not trying to indoctrinate or placate. Then why is half the book dedicated to Shalon cheering them on? She's so excited that they're holding hands and kissing, and they usher in, literally from your book, the age of progress by accepting their gay relationship.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then he talks about having a first.
I put a gay character in the Wheel of
men
Time. No,
So-
Robert Jordan put a gay character in the Wheel of Time, and you just made it more gay. I must have skipped over the line because there's just so much pontification here. He just repeats himself all the time. He used to be when he was conservative. He used to be a lot more concise. And that's because that's how this stuff works, right? Leftism is not logical. It is not backed up by logic. So it's really hard to justify. And when you're trying to justify it, you have to jump through a lot of hoops. When you're trying to justify your position as a conservative, it's super easy.
Yep.
It's super concise. And like his speeches from Dragonsteel, they used to be really, really good, really concise. His speech this year, I couldn't even follow him.
Yeah,
it was so bizarre.
was
He was
kind
like
of a bummer.
rambling in circles and circles about, oh, we just want to be nice to people. We want to make sure that we don't make fun of the people who like those pornographic romance novels. We want to accept them. That was literally his speech. We want to accept in the people who like romantasy and not be mean to them. Okay? There's a difference between romantasy and the romantasy that's sold in bookstores right now. It's just porn. Okay?
Yeah.
And the left of all people should realize that there's some nuance to this. Okay, they love the word nuance. But the part that was really damning, see if I can find it, is story maybe. He says what was great about the Tracy's character is that it didn't take over the whole story. And it was like, okay,
Right. That's the point.
but that's what your character does.
exactly.
Renarin and Merlane takes over the entire story. It makes the entire story about that. And they're not even supposed to, and that it makes it worse because Renarin is not a main character of the first 5 books. He's supposed to be a main character of the next 5 books. In 6 through 10, he is a focus character. Yeah. This book was supposed to be a goodbye to the main characters of the first 5 books.
Supposed to be
and it spent
book,
half of the book celebrating the gay relationship between Renarin and Merlane, 2 characters that we don't care about.
Yeah.
And I liked Renarin up until this book. I liked his character. It was interesting. He was the socially awkward guy. And it never even occurred to me that it was because he was gay, because those hints were not there from the beginning. Some of them were there in book 4. Like I could see, okay, now you've changed a little bit, and you're saying, oh, it's because he's gay.
I didn't even catch it in book 4.
It's not. It's very subtle in book 4.
Yeah.
But you can't say that was your plan from the beginning, because it's not true. And there's a difference between representation and celebration.
Yeah.
Can it be any more on the nose? No, it can't. Have you read the book, Justin? Renarin and Merlane save the world by being gay. They defeat not the god of passion, but one of the unmade by the god of passion, who they placate the god of passion by accepting their gay relationship, and it saves the world. And Shallan is there clapping the whole time. Shallan's entire plot gets sidetracked so she can watch Rlain and Renarin hold hands, and she claps for it the whole time.
Yeah.
Did they adopt a baby? Not yet, but we know how that works.
Yeah.
Maybe, if he actually wants real representation, he might have them adopt some children and molest them in books 6 through 10.
Yeah. This was
you should read Robert Jordan. You should read The Wheel of Time. It's fantastic.
I agree. I need to finish that.
Well, this stream's getting demonetized. So I wish I could find the line. It's in there. Like, oh, the reason why it worked is because it didn't make the entire story about it. Oh, this part pissed me off too. I skipped over it, right? He had to throw this in here. He had to throw them under the bus. Look, I really like this series. Looking back at it now, it was probably really bad of them to do an Arabian-inspired fantasy when they're white people.
Yeah.
So I can't say that the book holds up, but I liked it when I read it back then. What? Like, come on, dude. Like, really? Can you follow that train of thought to its logical conclusion, Brandon? You're not allowed to write about gay people unless you're gay. You're not allowed to write about characters with mental health unless you're mentally retarded too. Okay? That line of thought is nonsensical.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, It might not be the best representation of Arabian culture, but there's no reason why you can't write about it. Okay? If you want if you want to get authentic Mexican food, go to Mexico and you'll get some good food. That doesn't mean no one should be allowed to eat at Taco Bell. Like, this is so disingenuous, man.
Yep.
You can't even see how it applies to his very own body of work. This kind of thinking is freaking racist, man.
Yep.
It breaks my heart. I've loved... There is not a single Brandon Sanderson book that I don't like. Most of them I absolutely love. Some of them, I don't love it. It was good. There hasn't been a single book up until this point that I disliked. And I not only disliked Wind and Truth, I hated it. It was awful. And it's the most heartbreaking thing to experience. It's the hardest thing I've ever said out loud.
Yeah.
He was my favorite author. I don't even know if I plan on ever reading another Brandon Sanderson book now. And that's crazy to say. I've gone to Dragonsteel 3 times. I've spent tons of money. I just spent $300 on his RPG. I love Brandon Sanderson. And if this is how his books are going to be from here on out, if he is too prideful to listen to feedback, this is his response to feedback, I don't know if I will ever read another Brandon Sanderson book in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's heartbreaking. My authentic Chinese food is made by Mexicans.
Heck yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. Is it good? That's all that matters. All that matters is, can your firefighter carry you out of the fire? That's all that should freaking matter. Okay?
Yep.
I don't care if my Chinese food is made by Mexicans.
Yeah.
I don't care if my Mexican food is made by a Pakistani. Is it good? That's what matters.
Yep.
Absolutely heartbreaking. Jordan is awesome.
Yeah.
Read The Wheel of Time, man. Don't watch the show.
Yep.
Some of the best. I just started rereading Crown of Swords. Because Crown of Swords.
That's
'cause
book
we're
6 or
7.
7. Okay. I think that's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's where you're at. You stopped. You
I
took
paused.
a break.
I read the first 6,
Lord,
and then
you
I paused
stopped after
to
Lord of
read
Chaos.
the Stormlight Archive.
But
And now I haven't read the last one because
the Nerdporeal Lifeform just sent out a message. Hey, I'm going to start book 7, so now I got to reread that. Now on to a lighter topic. The murder rates in downtown Laos are up. The homelessness rate of LA just skyrocketed. But surprisingly, the fecal matter in the streets just dropped. So,
Oh boy. So Silo.
anything else you wanted to talk about? Animal control first. Any specifics? It's been fun.
I
think
really
it's a
liked this
solid.
episode.
I think
The first
it's.
episode, at least.
I think it started off as a solid 6 out of 10.
Mhm.
I think right now it's like an 8 out of 10. Like it's only gotten better from
I agree.
season 1. Like
I think-
like the characters are more fleshed out. They're
Yeah.
they're really and the show is finding its personality, because let's be honest, it's just another workplace comedy.
Yeah.
Animal Control, you can find it on Hulu right now, but it's made on Fox.
Yep.
But it's fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think
it's
season one
comfortable.
was like
It's inoffensive. It's a little too cheesy sometimes.
a little bit. But yeah, the first episode of season 3 I thought was
Yeah.
one of the better episodes. It was
I-
really good. There were a couple gags.
I wish they'd.
in the
I'd wish
first
they'd.
couple minutes that.
I
had me
wish they'd
impressed.
dial down the physical humor and turn up the character humor just a
I
little bit.
agree. Yeah, Joe McHale is really good. He's one of the best parts of the. I mean, he's good in
It's on
anything.
Hulu. Yeah, you can watch it on Hulu. It's I've enjoyed it. It's
But yeah,
fine.
I think I agree with you. I think
It's only
season
getting
1
better.
Season 1 was probably a 6. Season 2 was a 7, and
Yeah.
so far, I think
First 2 episodes of season 8.
it's an 8.
It's solid
pretty
8.
good.
Solid 8.
So
I also watched like right before we started recording before this show. I watched because I was on Hulu. I was like, I was trying to check the schedules for Animal Control. And there's the new Tim Allen show.
yes, that one looks good.
Just aired this week. It's the not Cruise Control. It's about cars.
Yeah,
He's a handyman again.
surprise, surprise.
But he fixes cars, and it's him and the chick with big yabos. That's her name.
What?
That's like all she's known for. Two Broke Girls.
Dolly Parton?
No, she's in Two Broke Girls, which I've never watched because it looks stupid.
Oh yeah,
and she's in the Thor movies for some reason.
yeah.
She's Natalie Portman's assistant, Kat Denning. There you go. I don't hate her. I just don't think she's super funny. She was pretty good. She was pretty good in this. What's the show called? Do the Googling while
I'm doing the Googling. More Power? Is that it? No,
I didn't hate the show.
Shifting Gears.
It's got a laugh track, and that is the biggest.
That's the thing, because his
Turn
last show was
Last Man Standing.
And I watched the first couple episodes. I'm like, this is funny stuff, but it has a freaking laugh track in it, and it would be so much better if they didn't do that. I don't know why he relies on that so much.
Same here. I love Tim Allen, and obviously, laugh track existed for a reason. Back when you actually had live audiences, now they just put it in post anyway, and so it never feels genuine. Like, can we get rid of the laugh tracks? Because I think the premise of the show is actually pretty good. Kat Denning's big yabos. Yeah, that is the best quote. The best line from any movie of all time ever is "Hocus Pocus." It's I was reading his journal. He said he really likes your, what did he call them? Yabos.
Yeah.
So good. That's what I call them. I call them yabos.
Yeah. So that one does look interesting. I'd like to check it out, but I agree. I wish the laugh track would just go die in a grave somewhere and never be resurrected.
But yeah, it's a pretty good premise for a show too, and it's pretty comfortable. It's him. He fixes up old cars, like they do like restoration of like classic,
Nice
muscle cars and stuff. And I'm not saying it's woke yet. He does have one of his coworkers is a disabled black man in a wheelchair. But I've liked his character. He's really funny. I would put him in the same vein as the disabled black guy from Superstore. Did you watch that one? He was pretty good in that.
I've only watched handful of episodes of Superstore.
But it's also got as his friend, the guy from, I haven't watched any of these movies, but he's in all the American Pie movies. But he's also in The Rundown with The Rock, and I think the last movie I ever saw him in was I gotta look it up. What's his name? I like him a lot. It's Sean William Scott. He was in Dude, Where's My Car and the Dukes of Hazzard remake. That was the last movie I ever saw him in. But I feel like he hasn't been in anything for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he works at the body shop, and Kat Dennings is Tim Allen's daughter, who she's kind of estranged, but she's getting a divorce from her husband, and so she moves back in with the dad because she needs help, and so
Gotcha.
there's butting heads. It's a pretty good premise. The kid actors aren't awful. There's a boy and a girl. The older boy is annoying, but that's his character.
Yeah.
It's on purpose, and I think he could grow into a less annoying character. But the little girl's great. So John William Scott, yeah.
I'll have to check it out. I do like Tim Allen.
Yeah. I'm definitely not saying, oh, it's woke because it's got a disabled black guy in it. I'm like, but doesn't mean it's not woke. I'm just saying it's an interesting trope that it's always a black guy in a wheelchair, Malcolm in the middle, Superstore. It happens frequently.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. Now I'm really hoping he was a black guy. I'm pretty sure he was black in the show. It's shifting gears. What if I did a racism? No, he's black.
It is.
He's black.
I see it. That's funny.
I was like, wait a second. I just doubted my entire existence there for a second. Yeah, it was okay. I wish the laugh track wasn't there at all, but it seems like it could be another comfort show. Anyway, Silo.
Yeah.
You got us to talk first because I've read the book, so
sure.
Because I know where I want it to be, and it's not there. So
this episode was really good. I liked the interactions with the new group that she came across. Although it was a little bit weird. There's just a couple, again, technical issues that didn't quite pan out from how it was shot, like physics-wise and stuff like that. Like, for example, this group has been there the whole time, and they have this in their base or their corner of the silo, whatever. They have all the lights on, and like you can see them, but they didn't know that they were there before. It's a really weird mismatch because it shows them sneaking around and spying on her the whole time, but then it shows them back in their bunker and all the lights are on and they're growing things and they're being loud and they're shouting at each other. I'm like, it's kind of weird, but that was fine. The other thing was,
it's handled better in the book.
So it goes back to the bit where she's threatening her, because the last episode ended where, I think it ended where she said, "Hey, I'm going to shoot you again if you don't back up or whatever." So then it goes back to that and say, "Hey, I shot you in the arm before or whatever. This next one's going to go straight through your heart." And she's
holding a shield,
body shield. It's covering everything except her head. All she has to do is this.
Yeah, it was a weird line.
Of that,
it was a weird line.
She goes back. She backs up and moves the shield so she can get her whole body. I'm like,
yeah, it was weird.
That was a little.
That was a weird choice. That was a choice that happened.
So there's just a couple weird things like that. The other thing that I thought was weird was Bernard is trying to have his shadow unearth this secret message or whatever that what's his name hid, right? And he's like, "Oh yeah, I found that the silos were multiple silos or something like that." And Bernard said, "Oh no, that's not it. We all know that there's multiple silos. He made 50. Actually, it was 51." And it was like, why don't you just tell your shadow what is and is not known information so he knows what to look for?
It's more frustrating because that's what he does in the books.
Yeah.
But also this whole mystery didn't exist, at least yet.
Right.
So
those are the only three things that I thought were a little bit weird. Otherwise, I really liked this episode.
It's cool.
There's a lot of stuff that happened. I liked her.
I was worried the whole episode was going to be a flashback. I was like, "Oh yeah, me too." No, like don't do this." But it was
just the cold open.
It was all relevant.
And then came back.
It didn't overstay its welcome, and I was like, "Oh, thank
yeah."
goodness.
I was really worried about.
Holy cow! That could have been just awful.
Yeah, it was really good. I also really freaking hate the mechanic lady. I forget her name. She's just turned into an awful character. Selling out her friends and not saying anything, not even trying to like slip them a coded message saying, "Hey, I'm I'm being bugged and I can't do anything about it. Don't give me any information
walk,
or
yeah.
walk. Yeah. Yeah.
I
she's
mean,
just
there was that
terrible.
scene where she realizes, okay, he knows, and we're talking in code, but she didn't give him anything relevant.
Right.
It was just him saying, "Hey, I know what you did, and I don't blame you." And you're like, you can kind of blame her.
Yeah.
we can kind of blame her.
But
It's kind of entirely her fault, you might
Yeah, it
say.
is.
Like she got like 30 people killed, probably, or
Yeah.
put in the gulag. That's not a good thing.
Put in the mines. But so aside from hating her character, I really like how that scene panned out where, he figured
It's more frustrating
what's
because
going
her character is not like that in the book.
on. Yeah, see?
It's because her character is a man.
Okay. I find her character really frustrating right now. But yeah, I really liked how he figured out that she was the one that leaked the information somehow, and
Because it could literally only be her. She's the only person that could get a message to the top because she's got
yeah.
I like how they're showing he's a smart guy.
Yes. And it was good how he handled it because he didn't just go in and say, "Oh, here's some information, by the way, whatever." He diffused as far as Bernard was concerned, the suspicion of her being the actual mole, by saying, "Oh, we found the mole. It was somebody else. By the way, here's information I thought you should know." So I thought that was really good how he did that in conversation and to trick Bernard into thinking that was their plan.
He does have to come up with 3 plans now, though.
That is true.
They had a plan, and that was exposed, and now he has to come up with a fake plan, and then he has to come up with a real plan.
Right.
When all he could have done, he could have just kept the first plan and said, "Okay, we're going to do that. But we're moving it up. We're going to do it tomorrow," and then hidden a second plan.
Yeah, that's true.
He didn't need a second fake plan.
Second fake plan. But yeah, we'll see how it.
He needed a second real plan because his first real plan is now unusable.
Right. So yeah, that was good. I liked everything that was happening with Jules, with Juliet in the other silo, trying to deduce the code and figuring out who Solo really is. And I like how she diffuses the situation. Say, "Hey, look, you guys weren't even around."
He's a rapper. Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently, he does rap music.
I
would know all about it.
Care, and based on his acting, I don't think I'm gonna look into his music. I think he's by far the worst part of the show.
Him and his wife are the worst actors and the worst.
Well, his wife isn't terrible, but yeah, there was that.
Great.
Yeah. Plot wise, though, they're like, "Oh, let's finally decide. It's finally time to decide."
It's odd that they have the worst plot and the worst acting.
Yeah. But yeah, I really liked this episode. It was really good. I liked everyone discovering inside the vault, the IT vault, all the relics that they have over there, and discovering everything. And Solo is I keep doing that. I keep saying Solo is at a silo, or the other way around. Solo is like, "Hey, let's try ice cream," or "You haven't heard of music? I think it might be better than ice cream." Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, music was good.
I really like his character, and I like their interactions.
I love him as an actor. He's perfect in the role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then just to find out that he was locked in there when he was 11 or 12, and had really no idea what was going on. He was just told to not let anybody in. It was good. It's a good episode. So, how does it differ from the book? Or do you still not want to reveal it till the end?
Sorry. Because he's retarded? Is that what we're insinuating here?
Oh boy.
Mark Clark's playing Conan. Left me a present in my tower.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, I got that notification.
Yeah, different from the book. Well, I mean, it's very different. It's very different from the book, but a lot of things are similar, and I think I can see what they're doing. And the author is also super involved in the production. In fact, in his Reddit AMA, he said, "I'm usually the one
Making changes
asking
and
for
stuff?
changes. Like, hey, we could do this instead." So, like, yeah,
That's
it's in a
good.
similar place. There's supposed to be significantly more action. Obviously, they start the rebellion the day after Juliet leaves. They start fighting.
Yeah.
It doesn't go very well. And then the rest of the book is them trying to stay alive while slowly being exterminated. They start the rebellion, and they bring like a bunch of melee weapons, but they also have bombs that they've constructed, and IT has guns that they weren't ready for. And there's one scene that I really like that I won't talk about yet because I hope it still happens. And I think
How about your other favorite scene?
they're both going to happen.
Really? Okay. It's going to be a good final episode this week.
I know one of them is going to happen. I hope they both happen. If they don't, I'll be very disappointed.
So it sounds like, since we still haven't gotten the reveal in the show itself, do you think there's inter-silo communication, or are they cutting that out completely?
No, they revealed it in this episode. Bernard says, "Yeah, I talked to all the other silos." They revealed that in this episode. Yes.
Okay. I must have missed that.
He said he says, do you think she's still alive? She said, "No, we're no longer in communication with that silo."
Right.
He says, "I talked to all the other silos. That silo blew up a long time ago."
Yeah.
They talk about that in this episode.
Yes, you're right. He does say that she's probably not alive because that silo has been out of commission and her camera feed.
Yeah. What else has Graham Yost done? I don't. Let me Google that real quick. Yeah, Taylor Sheridan. Did you like the Yellowstone finale, Justin? I'm curious. You liked that? What has he done? Justified. Oh yeah, people love that show, and I think I watched the first episode and it was cool. I don't know why I stopped watching. Only made Speed. Okay. Cool.
Goodness.
Fire in the Hole. Haven't heard that. Haven't heard of Boomtown. But yeah, I know people love Justified. Isn't that getting that got a renewal in the past? Isn't that getting a reboot as well? Like next year, Justified? I heard something about a Justified reboot. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
I love that actor, Timothy Oliphant. And Walton Goggins. I love both of them.
Walton
and I
Goggins.
also sometimes mix them up because they're very similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I should watch Justified. I know I've watched the first episode and it was pretty good. I didn't have it, but haven't gone back. Yeah, I know people are enjoying Sheridan's new show, the Landman. With I think that ends today, right? The finale is right now. The one with Billy Bob Thornton in it, where he plays an oil man, and I have seen the scene where he talks about green energy being stupid, and it's fantastic. But man, I love me some good Billy Bob Thornton, so I might check that show out. I don't know. Yeah, I've heard people like Landman. I haven't watched any of the Yellowstone prequels, but one of my friends is in the first 2 seasons of Yellowstone, and he dies. He gets his head blown off.
Oh
yeah,
boy.
I know the actor who played Beth's personal assistant. So he's actually also a member of the same church. He was a bishop actually too in our church. He's a cool guy, really cool guy. He got written off of the show because he didn't want to do inappropriate things with Beth's character.
Oh dear.
He was supposed to have an affair with her, and he's like, "I'm married. I would rather not do that." And so they blew his head off.
That's pretty hilarious.
He's a really good guy.
Yeah.
He stood up for his principles, and it lost him a job. So, my heart's with him because the same thing happened to me. A significantly less important job on my end, but still a job.
Yep.
And a lot of friends. So, a lot of people I thought were my friends. Anyway.
Yeah.
Boomtown. Yeah.
I've heard of that one.
Great way to be written out of a show.
Right? If you're gonna go,
get your head blown off by mobsters, or I think they were assassins. Yeah.
Nice.
You've always got us. No, yeah, I have good friends, and I've made a bunch of new friends online from this show, and a whole bunch of fun white cloaks who it was really fun during the while my wife was giving birth on election night. I was just chatting with all of my new friends on Discord who share similar politics as me, and it was very comforting to know, hey, it's good to have people who actually, stick up for you. So,
yep.
A black Asian samurai killed him. That is another way to go. Anyway, Silo ends next week. Landman ends today. And next week, we'll be talking about the finale of Silo, and we'll be talking about the premiere. Oh, baby. The premiere of Severance Season 2. Who's ready?
I thought that wasn't until February. Is Severance really this week?
Yes.
I'm so excited.
David, I've been talking about it every week.
I know.
It's in 5 days, David.
I'm so excited. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I hope it's not a mystery box. But I think they've given a lot of answers. The problem is with every answer they give, they give you 3 more questions. But it really feels like, and I'm praying and I'm hoping, that they know where they're going.
Well,
because it's interesting.
Because the finale kind of blew the lid off of this whole thing, and it'll be interesting to see how they handle the repercussions of all this.
Well, they've already showed he gets an entirely new team.
Mm.
And have you seen? I haven't watched any trailers. I only watched the teaser.
Single trailer.
I watched the teaser, and it's him like showing up at work, and he has a whole new team, and that was it. What was with the goats? If I knew the answer to that question, if I knew the answer to that question, I wouldn't tell you on purpose. Screw you. Let's go. Yeah. Nice. Friday. Severance is gonna be fun. Man, Ben Stiller. I wish he didn't say that stupid thing about Kamala, but I still really like his stuff.
Yeah, he's a really good producer, I think.
He needs to make more stuff like this and more stuff like Tropic Thunder.
Yep. And Secret Life of Walter Mitty was really good too.
That was really good. Did he produce that?
Yeah, he produced and starred in it. I believe.
That was a bold move.
Yeah. It was really good. It was very different from the original source material, but it was
it's actually It's
Amazing.
actually closer to the book source
Oh,
material.
I didn't even know it was a book.
Yeah. The author of the book wasn't a big fan of the Danny Kaye movie.
That's a
He's
shame.
like, it was a good, he said he liked the movie, but he's like, it's really not a great representation of my book.
Gotcha.
Because it kind of embraced the fantastical elements.
Yeah.
It makes sense for the context of the movie. And it's a great premise to be like, hey, this is a guy who has all these fantasies in his head, and now we don't know what's real and what's not, and there's this giant conspiracy, and he doesn't know if it's actually real or if it's just another one of his fantasies, right? But in the movie, I don't want to spoil anything. But he's like, that wasn't really the point of the book. The point was just, escapism, escaping mundanity through fantasy, and the movie kind of embraced the fantasy. And he's like, and so the new movie was more faithful to the book.
Yeah.
But
They're
both really good movies. You should watch the original Danny Kaye, Secret Life of Walter Mitty. It's hilarious. And the Ben Stiller one has funny moments, but it's definitely more a drama, heartfelt drama than it is a comedy.
But it's also a great modernization of the same sort of principles and themes, but in like an online blog
It is a fantastic adaptation.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's amazing. So they're both very much worth watching. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say.
That's a good point. That is how you modernize something.
Right.
Is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Yeah. You don't
insert
modern
guy. He was flaming, right? Right?
I
gotta look
maybe. I don't know.
I gotta look it up. Was Danny Kaye gay?
It's a fantastic actor, though.
Yes.
Was he?
He left his wife
For
to
a
be
man?
gay. Yeah.
Yeah, that checks out. But man,
He
I don't
was
think
funny.
I don't think I've heard a single human being spout as many words per minute as Danny Kaye was able to do. He, man, what a legend. Yeah.
Yeah, the other big one. Who was it? Jerry Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Who I watched all the time as a kid, and then found, whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He also was
Another
he
one
also
that's
did he also did stand-up comedy, and was super vulgar,
really.
It's very different from his on-screen persona.
That's weird. Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, short show. Do we have a short show, David?
I think so.
It's because Jared's not here. What a prick.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I have.
Next
to
show,
talk
I
about.
imagine, is going to be quite
It's gonna be a
long because
one.
we've
Yeah, it's
got
gonna be a long
the
one.
finale of Silo and Severance,
And it's a long episode. It's like
and you can
heard.
spoil all of the book things that may or may not have happened.
gives me time to play Conan. No, not tonight. We've got editing to do.
Yep.
I already played Conan with you yesterday, or 2 days. Friday night. I played Friday night. Okay.
Yep, I would have joined too if it weren't my wife and I's 13th anniversary date. We had our kids
I'll probably log on a bit
babysat
Monday. Okay.
all night. It was great.
I'll probably play a little bit Conan on Monday.
Yeah, I might join you then.
I might play some Conan Exiles on Monday.
I need to play more often. Every time I log in, you guys have changed the base again.
Well, Charles has started building stuff now.
I know. So I haven't done anything. I've built all the crafting benches, and then y'all just took the whole base to crazy levels. Anyway,
Yeah, so that's the show. I need to go text Charles. Don't put anything in his treasure chest, so our base doesn't get destroyed, because that will start mobs attacking our base. So, 13 years. Wow, Martina is a saint.
yeah, you got that right.
How long have I been married, David? I know we passed 10. Oh, we just had our 11th anniversay.
Nice.
Did I get married 2 years after you, David?
I thought it was 3, but
Yeah, we just had
I
11.
guess it was 2. huh?
But our anniversary's in November. What was the date of your anniversary?
January.
January. So
Just happened
okay,
because it was this Friday.
that was 13.
On date. Yeah,
'Cause
Baker's dozen.
okay. You got married, right? Okay, I did. You're right. It's only 2-year difference. Anyway, but it's 2 years, but plus like 9 months, right? Because it's
Right,
whatever.
almost 3.
I
All
don't
right.
know how math works. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. We'll talk about some Severance. We'll talk about some Silo. Hopefully, we'll get the Prophet of the Dragon back on to talk about that Silo finale.
Yeah.
Um,
And hopefully,
we
I'll
were
be
supposed
getting some videos posted too on my
still
channel.
no Dungeon Crawler Carl Book 5 stream. We were supposed to do it on Monday, but Prophet got sick. So we're trying to schedule that. And I want to... What was the other one? I need to do... We're going to do another Wind and Truth stream. And I need to do a Wind and Truth review. And I need to do my best books of 2024 review. And I got a lot of work to do. So,
Yep.
catch you later. Great show. We will see you guys next week. Maybe sooner on some Conan Exiles. And but always Sunday night on the Best Gen. And I'm trying to have a new Ultimate Nostalgia every Monday.
Yeah. Hopefully, we can keep that up.
Yeah. David and I are going to record one more episode after this. So, bye.
See you.
And now it is time to say goodbye.
We had a great conversation.
It's been fun. But all good things must come to an end, and the goodest ending I can think of is...
Right now, this moment, this night.
So I guess we just say goodbye.
So, goodbye.
Toodaloo. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao. Ding dao day. But come back next week for more outrageous bloopers.
This is the end.
Well, there's only one thing left to do.
I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If it's true, please take a minute to subscribe to the channel, and you can join us along for the ride. And if you pay me, I'll try to be more entertaining. So please consider joining Patreon and getting your name in the credits with pride.
I'd buy that for $1.